Hello, dear students. Welcome to the session and welcome to my newly launched EdTech startup and Thrive the Learning app. In the previous session, I discussed introduction and syllabus part of basic electrical engineering. In this session, I am going to discuss basic electrical elements part 1. So before starting the session, here is a small introduction about me. Myself, Mayank Kumar, your educator and founder of this app. I have the teaching experience of 4 years. I have the industrial experience of 1 year. I have worked in a renowned public sector undertaking company, that is EESL. I have done masters from NIT Patna in electrical engineering. My I have qualified GATE 8 number of times and cleared PSU exam. I have mentored more than 10,000 students. My areas of expertise are network theory, power electronics, power systems, electrical machines, and control systems. So let's begin the session. So first let us see what is electric current. If you define electric current, it is nothing but flow of electric charge in a closed path. It's called electric current. That means if you have an electric charge, suppose this is the electric charge, and if it is flowing in a closed path, if it is flowing in a closed path, then this is called electric current. Clear? Now if you look at this figure, here you have a battery. You are very familiar with battery. Everybody has seen battery at their home. Now you have a load. What is the meaning of load? All the electrical appliances are called load. Whether you have bulb, TV, fridge, heater, fan, all are nothing but electrical load. Clear? This is battery, this is load. Now this is connected with the help of wire. With the help of wire, this is connected. Now you can see battery has positive terminal as well as negative terminal. So what happens? If battery is connected to the load, then you will see that positive charge are coming out from positive plate of the battery. This is the positive plate of the battery. From here positive charge is coming out and it is flowing through this circuit. So this flow of electric charge is called what? Electric current. Now what happens? Positive charge is flowing through this direction. Now if you look at the negative charge, so now negative charge is also coming out through negative plate of the battery. Now you can see the direction of negative charge. Negative charge is traveling like this. Negative charge is traveling like this. Clear? Now both are called electric current. Whether it is positive charge or negative charge, if it is flowing, then it is called electric current. Now what is the your confusion? Your confusion is what should be the direction of electric current, because the direction can be only one. There can't be two directions of electric current. So what can we say? Since the flow of electric charge is called current, so whether the negative charge or positive charge, both the direction, both of this means whether from left to right, means you can say this is clockwise or even the anti-clockwise can also be the direction of current. But what happens, for the reference, the positive charge flow, the direction of flow of positive charge is taken as the conventional direction of current. I am writing this point. Please note, direction of flow of positive charge is taken as conventional direction of current. Conventional direction of current. Clear? Now if we write the formula of electric current, So the formula can be written as I equal to dq upon dt. I equal to dq upon dt. This is called current. That means rate of charge of flow with respect to time. What does it mean? Suppose this is point A, this is point B. Now if we assume that a positive charge of 1 coulomb is flowing between the terminal A and B and it takes 1 second of time. Suppose it takes 1 second of time to travel from point A to point B. Now if we have to write the value of current, so current will be how much? Current I will be charge, the value of charge is 1 coulomb divided by time is 1 second. So now it is called 1 coulomb per second, or it is 1 ampere. What is ampere? Ampere is the unit of electric current. Ampere is the unit of electric current. So here I am highlighting this one. Ampere is the unit of electric current. So sometimes you will see that I is written as q by t, or sometimes you will see that I is written as dq by dt. Both are same. Generally you will find this formula only, that I equal to dq by dt. So now I hope it is clear to you. Next, what do you know charge of an electron? It is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. This is the charge of an electron. Now what happens? For 1 coulomb of charge, if you have to find the total number of electrons in 1 coulomb of charge, so what will you write? Number of electrons. Number of electrons. Now it will be how much? Since charge of 1 electron is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 90 coulomb. Hence 1 coulomb charge will be equal to 1 upon 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 electrons. This will be the total number of electrons. So now if you divide, it will be equal to 0.624 into 10 to the power 19 electrons are there in 1 coulomb of charge. Clear? Now if somebody asking you what is the actual meaning of 1 ampere current, so what can you say? 1 ampere current means 1 coulomb per second. 1 coulomb per second. That means you can say 1 coulomb means 0.624 into 10 to the power 19 electrons pass in 1 second. This is the actual meaning of 1 ampere current. Clear? That means for 1 second 6.24 into 10 to the power 18 or 0.624 into 10 to the power 19 electrons passes in 1 second. That is called 1 ampere current. Next, let us see electric potential. Potential means what? Potential means your capacity. Clear? So let us define electric potential. It is saying the amount of work required to move an unit electric charge from reference point to a specific point against an electric field is called electric potential. That means you have a unit electric charge, that means 1 coulomb charge. Suppose this is your 1 coulomb charge. Now you are moving this 1 coulomb charge from this point, that means point A, to a specific point B. Clear? So now against electric field, that means the direction of electric field was just opposite to this movement. Then the work done on this charge is called electric potential. Clear? Is called electric potential. So next, when electric charge is moved from one point to another point, now what is happening? If this electric charge is moving from one point to another point, so what we have learned, if the path is closed, then it causes current in the path or current in the circuit. Then it causes current in the circuit. So now what can you say? You can say that if there is electric potential, then it can cause electric current. If you apply electric potential, it will cause electric current in the closed loop. Clear? So now the amount of work done per unit charge is known as potential difference between 2 points. What it is saying? The amount of work done per unit charge is known as potential difference between the 2 points. That means there is point A, there is point P. What it is saying? Amount of work done per unit charge. That means you can say V equal to dW upon dQ. This is called potential difference between the 2 points A and P. Clear? V equal to dW upon dQ. What is the unit of electric potential? Its unit is volts. Its unit is volt. Clear? So this is about electric potential. Now once we got to know about electric potential, you are already knowing electric current. So now let us define electric power. So you know voltage, you know current. Now you have to write electric power. So let us write power P. Let us write power P. So what is power P? What do you know by power? Power is nothing but rate of work with respect to time. Rate of doing work is called power. So you can write dW upon dt. Now write like this: dW divided by dQ into dQ divided by dt. See, if you write like this, dW by dt, or here if you are writing dW upon dQ into dQ upon dt, is there any change? Nothing. Now, what you have defined? dW upon dQ. dW upon dQ is nothing but potential V. dQ upon dt, this is nothing but current I. So here you can write power equal to V into I. This is very important formula. If you get good rank in GATE exam, if you get good rank in engineering services exam, or if you get good rank in JEE exam, now if they are taking some interview, and in interview if somebody is asking you, tell me the expression of power, you will say, sir, power equal to V into I. So now they will ask you from where this expression has been derived, V into I. So what will you say? If you answer them like this, then you will get good marks. Otherwise they will think that you don't have the conceptual knowledge. So this is about electrical power. What is the unit? Unit of power is watt. Unit of power is watt, that is W. Next, let us define electric circuit. So what is electric circuit? Interconnection of different electrical elements. You have many number of electrical elements like resistor, inductor, capacitor, battery, all are called electrical elements. So it is saying the interconnection of different electrical elements in such a way that it forms a closed loop. This term is very important. It forms a closed loop where current either flows or intended to flow. It is saying that it is the interconnection of electrical elements in such a way that it forms a closed loop where current either flows or it tries to flow, it intended to flow. So let us take this example. This is nothing but circuit. This is load and this battery is called source. So what happens? Since switch is closed here, so you can say that current is flowing like this. You can say that the current is flowing like this. Clear? So this is called circuit. For circuit, what is compulsory thing? Compulsory thing, there must be closed path. There must be closed path. Then only the interconnection of elements will be called circuit. Clear? There must be closed path. Next, let us define resistance. Let us discuss about resistance. This is very important. This is very important. So what is resistance? It is the property of electrical material that opposes current is called resistance. That means it is such a property of electrical material that opposes flow of charges, or simply you can say that opposes current. So what is the symbol? All the elements have some different symbol. So this is the symbol of resistor. What do you call it? It is called zigzag path. Zigzag path. Now if you appear in an interview, they may ask you why the resistor symbol is zigzag. So what will be your answer? What is the job of resistance? Resistance is opposing current. So suppose here water is flowing like this, clear. Now if there is something that will oppose the water, it means how the water can be opposed. The water can be opposed if you have some path like this, then the flow of water, the speed will be reduced. Speed will be reduced. That's why resistance is being represented by zigzag path. Clear? So now there is a very beautiful formula for resistance, R equal to rho into L by A. Now let us see what are the different terms. Before writing all the different terms, I am writing the unit of resistance. It is ohm. Unit of resistance is ohm, or you can write like omega. Write like the symbol omega. Clear? So now what is rho, L and A? Rho is called resistivity of material. Rho is called resistivity of material. What is the resistivity of material? Resistivity is also the property of electric material. Clear? So now if a material has some resistivity, now depending upon the length and area of cross section of the material, you can determine the value of resistance. So what is L? L is nothing but length of material. L is nothing but length of material, and A is the cross sectional area. A is the cross sectional area. What is cross sectional area? You can see this figure. This is A. This part, this is nothing but a circle. This is nothing but a circle. It will have some radius. So now you can find A equal to pi r square. Or somebody has given the diameter, then you can say pi d square divided by 4. So this is the cross sectional area. Now what is the length? Length, you can see this conductor is lying from this point to this point. So this is the length. Clear? Now resistivity value will be given to you. You will have to find resistance of the object. Clear? Now let us write the unit of resistivity. So how to write the unit of resistivity? You can write rho as R into A by F. Now the unit of R is ohm, A area meter square divided by L meter. So from here its unit is ohm meter. Its unit is ohm meter. This is the unit of resistivity of a material. It is ohm meter. I hope it is clear to you. Now you can easily find the resistance of any material for the length, for given length, cross sectional area and resistivity So for this material you can easily find the value of resistance. Clear? So now let's take a question. It is given that copper has resistivity of 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. This is the resistivity of copper. Now you have to calculate the resistance of 2-meter long copper wire having radius 6 millimeter. How to solve this type of question? See, I am writing all the steps so that you can obtain good marks in semester exam. You have to write like this, you have to write like this. Given that resistivity, given that resistivity rho equal to 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. Clear? Next, 2 meter long, that means length L is given as 2 meter. Next, radius R is given at 6 millimeter. What do you mean by millimeter? You can convert it into 6 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Clear? So now we know that, you write like this, we know that resistance R equal to rho into L by A. Clear? Now you are knowing the value of L, you are knowing the value of rho, but you don't know the value of area A. So what will you write? Area A is nothing but area of circle pi r square. So from here, pi into 6 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter whole square. From here, if you calculate, its value will be 1.131 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter square. This is the value of cross sectional area. So now you got the value of cross sectional area. Next you can write R equal to rho 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8 into L. The value of L is 2 divided by the value of area A is 1.131 into 10 to the power minus 4. So from here, if you calculate, you will get resistance R equal to 3.04 into 10 to the power minus 4 ohm. 3.04 into 10 to the power minus 4 ohm. This is the value of resistance R. This is the value of resistance R. Clear? Next, the next question is, a wire has resistance of 10 ohm if the length of wire is doubled. Suppose you have this wire, its resistance is given 10 ohm. Now they are asking, if the length of wire is doubled, then the value of new resistance will be how much? So how to find? See, there is a conceptual trick in this question. What you have to think, this is the wire, it has some fixed volume of material. Clear? Now how can you double its length? If you want to double its length, you will have to stretch this wire. If you are stretching this wire, so the way its length is increasing, its area will be decreased. Why? Because volume is constant. Because volume is constant. So now you'll have to apply this concept. What is given? Given that R1 initial resistance is 10 ohm, and what it is given? L2 equal to 2L1. L2 is equal to 2L1. So now what will you write? You know that volume is constant. Volume equal to constant. That means you can write A into L equal to constant. That means you can write A1 into L1 equal to A2 into L2. What can you write? A2 into L2, instead of L2 you can write 2L1. From here A2 will become equal to A1 by 2. A2 will become equal to A1 by 2. Clear? So this is new area. Once you obtain the expression for area, so what do you know? R equal to rho into L by A. So what can you write? R1 by R2 equal to rho, and rho will be cancelled out. It will become L1 by L2 into A2 by A1. Clear? So L1 by L2. Here if you write, L1 is given L1 divided by L2. L2 is 2 L1 into A2. A2 is A1 by 2. That means A1 by 2 divided by A1. This is R1 by R2. From here, if you write R2 by R1, it will become how much? R2 by R1 is become 4. R2 by R1 is become 4. It means R2 is equal to 4R1. R2 is equal to 4R1. That means 4 into 10 ohm, or you can say it is equal to 40. So this will be the answer. That is equal to 40. Now they can ask you in different way. Now what they will say? They will say that if the length of the wire is doubled, keeping area constant. They can ask you like this, keeping area constant. Now what does it mean? If the moment they say length of wire is doubled, keeping cross sectional area constant, that means you should understand that now the new wire has been added. Then you can say that how it is possible to increase the length. New wire has been added now. So if new wire has been added, so simply we will say L2 equal to 2L1, A2 equal to A1. A2 equal to A1, that means area is constant. So from here if you write R2 by R1, it will become equal to simply area is constant, so 2L1 divided by L1, that means 2. From here R2 will be equal to 2 into R1. So these are the tricks. You must see the question very carefully, what they have written and what they are asking, then only you can solve the questions in right direction. Next part is conductance and conductivity. Let us see conductance. What is conductance? Conductance is represented by capital G. The reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. You have resistance that resists that opposite current, that opposite current. You have conductance, opposite of resistance. That means it supports current. Clear? So you can write G equal to 1 upon R. So if you write unit, so 1 upon R, 1 upon ohm, so ohm inverse, or you can write like mho, or third unit is Siemens. These three are unit of conductance per ohm, mho or Siemens. Mho or Siemens. Clear? Next, conductivity. Conductivity. The reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. The reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. That means if a material has more conductivity, it means that is the good conductor of electricity. So if you write sigma conductivity, that will be equal to 1 upon rho. Now if you write unit, so what will be the unit? Unit will be simply 1 upon ohm meter, or you can write ohm inverse meter inverse, or you can write mho per meter, or you can write Siemens per meter. This will be the unit of resistivity, the unit of conductivity. Clear? Next, this is very important point. In any competitive examinations, you can expect this question, or in semester also, if they are asking some objective questions, so they may ask you this question from basic electrical engineering. Order of conductivity of materials. Actually, you have some materials, they just ask the order of conductivity of the material. So let us see what is the order of conductivity of materials. Four materials are given. Silver has the highest conductivity. After silver, copper, then gold, then aluminium. Clear? Silver has the highest conductivity. That means if they are giving you three materials, silver, gold, and copper, they ask you which one of the following is best conducting materials. What will you say? Silver. Silver has highest conductivity. Silver has highest conductivity. Now your question will be, sir, gold has highest price, so why its conductivity is not high? So I am telling you, gold has its highest price. Why? Because gold has different use. Yeah, it is being used in jewelry. Okay, so now you are purchasing gold for the purpose of, that means for jewelry purpose. Clear? Now for conductivity purpose you are not purchasing gold. Okay, so for conductivity purpose generally people are using copper or aluminum, because if even if you use silver, its price is very high, so you can't use silver as a conductor. So for, if you are an electrical engineer and if you are going to purchase wire, so don't purchase silver or gold wire. You'll have to purchase either copper or aluminum wire, because you'll have to look at the cost. So this is all about resistance and conductance and conductivity. Clear? I hope you really enjoyed this session. Now in next session I'll discuss how resistance depends on temperature, and then I'll discuss inductor and capacitor. So thank you for watching my session.